right, this meeting of the City of Frostburg is called to order. Please stand for the pledge, and after the pledge, remain standing for a moment. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We are thankful for this special community, for the time we share together, and the bounty of our nation. We are thankful for the commitment of our people who volunteer their time and talents to make our community a better place to live, work, and raise a family. We know that we alone cannot meet the challenges or provide sufficient inspiration without community involvement and the dedication of all concerned to the greater good of the city and all who reside in it. We are thankful for the beauty, the time, and the place that is Frostburg. Amen.
All right. We'll have a call of the roll, please.
Commissioner Nina Forsythe.
Here.
Commissioner Kevin Grove.
Here.
Commissioner Adam Ritchie.
Here.
Mayor Todd Logston.
Present.
And Commissioner Donnie Carter has indicated that he is coming. He will just be late.
Yes, he is expected momentarily. Okay. Item 5 on the agenda is the approval of the agenda.
I move we approve the agenda.
Second.
It's been duly moved and seconded to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Agenda is approved. Next is minutes from the October meeting.
Make a motion we approve the minutes from the October meeting.
Second.
It's been duly moved and seconded to approve the minutes from the October regular council meeting. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, remains in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Minutes of the October meeting are approved. All right, we have a couple of special presentations, which I suspect is why many folks are here tonight. So we'll call on Renee first to make a special presentation.
I have the honor of presenting this year's Spirit of Frostburg Award. To celebrate our community's bicentennial in 2012, the City of Frostburg created the 2012 Fund. The 2012 Fund successfully financed a very enjoyable bicentennial celebration. The remainder of the 2012 Fund was invested by the Foundation for Frostburg in what is known as the Frostburg Day Endowment. In addition, the Bicentennial Committee designated the second Saturday in September to be known as Frostburg Day. On that day, or at a fall meeting of the Mayor and Council, a portion of the interest generated from this endowment is presented to individuals or groups that have upheld the Foundation's mission of enhancing the quality of life for the citizens of Frostburg and the surrounding communities. This fund will continue to grow and serve as a startup fund for Frostburg's 250th birthday celebration in the year 2062. In addition to a cash stipend, a unique piece of artwork is presented to the recipients of the Spirit of Frostburg Award. The background incorporates the poster that was designed for the 2012 celebration. Our thanks go out again to Susan Dodge of FSU, who designed the original bicentennial poster and continues to customize the award for us each year. On the poster is the bicentennial poem, commissioned by the Frostburg 2012 Committee, composed by local poet Nina Forsythe, who currently serves as our city as a commissioner. Award winners are selected by the Mayor and Council. Previous winners of the award include, from 2013, Winnie Davis, Frostburg Area Ambulance Service, Chuck Dickin, WFWM, and Jack Dishall, Frostburg Lamppost Committee. In 2014, the House and Garden Club of Frostburg and the American Legion Faraday Post 24. In 2015, Elizabeth Eshelman, the Frostburg Museum, and Dr. William Bingaman and Dr. Barbara Ornstein, FSU Children's Literature Center. In 2016, Mr. Patrick O'Brien, Director of Civic Engagement at FSU. In 2017, the Classy Chassis Car Club and the Frostburg Elks Lodge 470. In 2018, retired hometown heroes Sergeant George D. Kroll, Lieutenant Kevin G. Grove, Chief Royce C. Dowdy for 120 years of combined service on the Frostburg Police Department. In 2019, Frostburg Area Interfaith Food Pantry, The stipend treated the directors and designated volunteers to a dinner. In 2020, Dr. Bob Stevenson, retired principal of Bell Elementary School. In 2021, Mr. John R. Kirby Jr., Frostburg City Administrator, retired September 14th, 2000. Well, he retired and he served from September 14th, 2004 to June 30th, 2019. In 2022, Dr. Kara Rogers Thomas, professor at Frostburg State University's Department of Sociology, who is the coordinator of the FSU Appalachian Festival. In 2023, local elementary school students Carson Negley, age 7, who was a leukemia patient, and Harper Struntz, age 9, priority patient for a heart transplant. And this year's award, the Foundation for Frostburg Coal Miner Memorial Statue Fund. The Coal Miner Memorial Committee established their mission in 2012 to recollect the history of coal in the Georges Creek Valley, to recognize its economic and cultural impact upon our region, and to recall the sacrifices made by those who mined it. The project was funded by contributions to the Foundation for Frostburg, the City of Frostburg, Allegheny County, the State of Maryland Capital Grant and Open Space Programs, and the Rocky Gap Foundation. 12 years later, in August of 2024, the committee held an evening meander to dedicate the memorial. Located along the pathway leading from the Frostburg Depot to the Frostburg Trailhead of the Great Allegheny Passage, the space is truly a peaceful, unique resource. Along with our congratulations on receiving the 2024 Spirit of Frostburg Award goes our thanks to the committee for their perseverance and dedication. Thank you.
So you want me to just, if I say everybody's names, we can come up and get our picture taken with the mayor?
Great.
That'd be great. So we have, there were 8 who were originally committee members. Eleanor Known and her late husband Moose, come up. Bucky Shriver, Paul Horn, Joanne Condry, Linda Walker and her late husband Ray, and Larry Fisher. So the artwork that we have is the original poster that was designed by Susan Dodge, who we mentioned, and Nina Forsythe is actually, her poem is on front of that with the names below. That's just a sample of what we do. Everybody here will get a piece of artwork, and what we hope to do, we're going to take that and enlarge it and make it an outdoor sign and install it down at our coal miner memorial. So, that is Joanne. Charlie, who can't be with us. That's Charlie Walker, who can't be with us. Paula. And Bucky. And Larry Fisher. I might give you Charlie's. Is that okay? Can you get that? Can you take Charlie? There we go. Okay, so that's all of us. And the mayor.
Yeah, great.
Maybe what I'll do is like shorten you guys up, face inward a little bit, facing down a little bit. And maybe the mayor and council can be like right behind us or right here.
Can we have them hold in the middle? Can you
Yes.
hold in the middle just so we can get that in that picture? Perfect. On your pose.
Are we in there?
Everyone put me in a sign.
Do you want to lay them back on the table, Bart,
Yeah.
please?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
here,
fine.
that'll be perfect.
We appreciate everybody here. Let's stay back here. Yeah, you in there now, like the mountain. Where you're going. Right. All right. I like the mountain.
Very good.
And I never am.
Good job. Okay. I'm gonna do like 5. 1, 2, 3. Hold tight. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, seriously, thank you for everything that you've done, all of you. Thank you
It's
for,
been a great project,
Yes.
and it's still ongoing. We just installed a coal car down there, a low bank coal car. Now we have more adventures to continue, to be continued.
is there anything you're not good at, Barb?
Now,
You have
ask
it found,
Sal, he'll tell you.
It's an impressive memorial.
It is.
Yeah. And,
driving force
and
behind
I hope that you have like more activities down there so that, you know, more people are drawn to the memorial to see it, because people really should spend some time with it. But first, they need to have that, like, that first meeting with it, so then, oh yeah, I'm gonna go back and take my time to read everything, because it's very impressive. It really made an impression
Some
on
of the
me.
train people, when I've been down there, have been spending time, that they
Good,
travel on the
yeah.
train, and it takes a little while to go through it and kind of grasp everything that
Yeah,
it does, and, yeah. The overlook is really an overlook right now. Now's a good time to go,
Ah.
because you can see.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and stuff.
You just need the signing, the
Yeah.
signage done, you know.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of directions. I couldn't find it, they're on the phone, where is that, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
But we'll get there.
Good,
Yep.
thank you.
All right, well, we'll move on to the next thing. So I have a couple proclamations to read off here on behalf of the city. So this first one talks about Small Business Saturday. So whereas the city of Frostburg celebrates our local small businesses and the contributions that they make to our local economy and the community, according to the United States Small Business Administration, there are 30.7 million small businesses in the United States that represent 99.7% of all firms with paid employees in this country. Whereas 96% of consumers who plan to shop on Small Business Saturday said that the day inspires them to go to small independently owned retailers or restaurants that they've not been to before. And whereas the city of Frostburg supports our local small businesses that create jobs, boost our local economy, and preserve our communities, and whereas advocacy groups, as well as public and private organizations across the country, have endorsed the Saturday following Thanksgiving as Small Business Saturday, now therefore I, Todd Logston, Mayor of the city of Frostburg, do proclaim Saturday, November the 30th to be Small Business Saturday here in the city of Frostburg. And I urge all the residents of our community and the communities across the country to support small businesses and merchants on that day and throughout the year, given under my hand in this day. And this is to be presented to Deirdre? Okay. Very good. We certainly encourage small businesses, not just on that day, but of course every day. Right?
Businesses like Hard Floors, businesses like Armstrong Insurance, small businesses.
All right, and one more, and I don't think there's anyone here to receive this proclamation, but we'll give it anyway, to talk about municipal government works. So that's something that occurs in the month of November. Whereas the city of Frostburg was incorporated in 1870, making it one of Maryland's 156 municipalities. Whereas municipal government represents the most responsive level of government to allowing citizens to have direct access to your elected officials, which of course you have tonight. Whereas in an effort to educate citizens about municipal government and the importance of their participation, the city of Frostburg is proud to promote municipal government awareness. Whereas municipalities have enhanced the quality of life for their respective residents by providing 24/7 police protection, maintaining infrastructure, offering ample recreational opportunities, bolstering its historic downtown, and helping to make Maryland and Frostburg a community place that people love to be. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Mayor and Council of the City of Frostburg do hereby join Maryland Municipal League to declare the month of November as Municipal Government Works Month, and together celebrate the dedication and drive of our many municipal employees who work to make Frostburg the place that we are proud to call home. And we're certainly proud of all 55 employees that we have here in Frostburg. And I tell everybody, I've told people in this room, I tell everybody, our employees are, I'll put them up against anybody in the United States, and I say that even when they're not in the room. I tell everybody I know that Elizabeth is 100 times smarter than I am. Thank God we have her. And everybody in
She
town.
should get the proclamation.
Yes, let's do that, Liz. Share this with your employees. Okay.
In the time that I've been here, I must say that Elizabeth, under the leadership of Elizabeth, every year there are more steps that the whole staff is taking to make municipal government work even better, to make it more efficient, to make it more responsive. So kudos.
Thank you very much. It's all of them and their drive.
And your leadership.
All right. So that's all we have under special presentations. Moving on then to the reports of the monthly departments. Mrs. Jones, would you like to go first?
Good evening. I'll keep my report very brief tonight. Just in addition to our ongoing duties to maintain city operations, our key focus in the finance department and this past month continues to be the annual audit. So as you're aware, the city's required to have an annual financial statement audit each year. And this year we have the additional responsibility of being under the single audit because we spent over $750,000 in federal funds for the year. So that's an additional responsibility we have this year. A privilege and a responsibility to be accountable for all the resources entrusted to us. So the original audit deadline for the financial statement audit was October 31st. As often happens, we had to request an extension, so we're currently under a 60-day extension, and we will continue to work diligently with our auditor to get that completed in a timely fashion. So if there were any questions regarding the written reports, I'd be happy to address those at this time. Otherwise, that would conclude my report.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, who's next?
Good evening. I prepared a little highlight reel of the Community Development Department's monthly report. We had, in the month of October, we had 17 code enforcement communications made, including the issuance of 1 municipal citation. Of those, 4 remain open. So that's a pretty good success for the month of October. We had 13 permit applications filed in the month of October, most notably the use and occupancy permit for O'Reilly Auto Parts up near the Frostburg Plaza. They're up and running now, so that's great. And we also issued a commercial building permit for Klim Environmental Services, a 9,600 square foot biomedical waste recycling facility out off of Hoffman Hollow Road. In other news from the Community Development Department, Jamie Klink, our city planner, obtained a $4,000 grant to support the installation of an e-bike charger in the Parish Hall parking lot near the EV charging infrastructure, so that'll be a great addition to our downtown. We also hosted DHCD, the Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development, Secretary Jake Day. We got to show him around Frostburg, show him the different projects that DHCD has helped fund. It was a really awesome day. Speaking of DHCD, we're still waiting to hear back about those strategic demolition funds. I know I say this every month, but we would have thought we'd heard by now, but any day. So keep your fingers crossed. And finally, we closed out the month on October 31st with our Comprehensive Plan Steering Committee's kickoff meeting. So the steering committee will kind of oversee the whole comprehensive planning process over the next 18 to 24 months. So that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Lindsay.
This might be my shortest report to date so far. But in Public Works, that would be water, sewer and street, parks and rec, and then the Public Works Department itself. It's kind of been a business as usual month for us. In the water department, really only 2 major leaks to speak of. A couple water shutdowns due to preventative maintenance with some valves and things we wanted to do, but nothing crazy there. We are, like we talked about last month, back at full strength in the water department, and the guys have been very happy about that. In the street, sanitation, and sewer department, again, pretty much business as usual, prepping for winter weather, getting all the trucks ready, making sure every kink is ironed out in those trucks. Salt is ordered now. Getting excited to put it in our new building, which will be ready to go by the time the salt is here. So nothing too crazy in that department. That department is, again, at full strength, which we have been for a while now. And then in the Parks and Rec department, it is mostly shut down for winter, so closing all of the outdoor parks, preparation for holiday events, Storybook Holiday, etc., things like of that nature. There are a couple things that we will be doing over the winter while the parks are closed, some floors and some bathrooms, some renovation work in some of the bathrooms at some of the parks, but nothing too crazy in those departments. In Public Works itself, this time of year is mostly project close-up and shutdown in terms of the actual physical work. So some of our CSO jobs are coming to a close, water lines are coming to a close, salt building coming to a close, and then we are ramping up for next year's projects in terms of paperwork. That'll be next year's 5 CSO projects, the potential of roundabout work, which is in further discussions, and then our planned maintenance for water lines, road paving, and then just small jobs here and there, valve replacements, sewer line replacements, small work sprinkled in and out. Really nothing too crazy in the public works spectrum, unless there's any questions.
Just about down on Washington Street.
Pavement went down today, so yeah. Pavement, we stayed until about 8:30, 8:45, putting down concrete last night. Pavement went down today, and we should be out of there in a week. So,
They'll be very happy.
yeah, so will I.
Sure.
But that's, so you'll hear from me soon enough.
The Glendenning Playground.
The equipment.
Oh, that one,
It's been ordered, right?
yes,
Yeah.
it has been ordered. Whenever it comes in, we'll, obviously it hasn't been in yet, so we'll talk about that next month, but still on track. So, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, that's everything except the police department, which we always save for last, so
I'll make a motion to approve the monthly reports of the city departments.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to approve the reports of the various city departments. Any further discussion among council on that? Okay. Hearing none, as many as in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The reports are approved. Okay. Item 8B, announcements, holiday announcements. Is this a me thing?
It can be,
Okay,
yes.
it's a me thing. Just putting on record for the public to know the following things that are coming up here in the holiday season. Saturday, November 30th, we already talked about Small Business Saturday. If you have any cash in your pocket that you don't need, go give it to one or more small businesses in town. We would really like for you to do that. Of course, the annual community tree lighting ceremony will be in St. Michael's Courtyard the following day. That's Sunday, December the 1st at what time, Deirdre? Do you know? 6:30. Okay, so that'll be 6:30 on Sunday, December the 1st. And then, of course, the following Saturday, December the 7th, is the day-long world-famous Storybook Holiday Celebration. That'll start bright and early. Breakfast at the hotel.
As seen on TV.
As seen on TV. Breakfast, Elf Olympics, parade, Santa, the whole bit. So please make sure you come out for that. Also, something that's not on here that I just thought of, Thursday night, weather permitting, this Thursday, the wreaths are going up on the lampposts. So keep an eye out for that. Maybe cross your fingers that it doesn't rain, at least not until Friday morning.
Or snow.
Or snow.
Snow.
Yeah. So, spend time in Frostburg. Of course, everyone in this room knows that. Spend time in Frostburg. Spend your money in Frostburg. We really like that too. All right, moving on then to public hearings. This is a hearing for ordinance 2024-05. Ms. Fife.
Hello again. This evening's public hearing this is your second reading of some amendments made to section 8-2 of the city code in reference to property maintenance standards. These text amendments mostly have to do with motor vehicles and the way that unlicensed or non-running motor vehicles are stored on private property. I'd like to bring your attention to two of the key amendments here. So one of them is giving a definition to what is an appropriate car cover. A blue tarp is not an appropriate car cover. A car that is not operable must be covered by a cover that is made for that purpose. The other notable amendment here is the responsibility for compliance. So the registered owner of the vehicle and the owner of the public property or the private property will now be liable for motor vehicles that are untagged and stored on the property. And this is something that we see a lot with rental properties, so we wanted to make sure that this was included. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. Otherwise,
If any members of the public have comments about this ordinance, I'd ask that you come to the podium and state your name and address for the record.
All right, seeing none, we shall consider the public hearing then for this ordinance to be satisfied, and we'll move on. Okay, next is CSO.
All right, so I'll just give the monthly update for the CSO projects in the city of Frostburg. At the moment, we have one under construction, Phase 10A, which is going on by Mountain Ridge High School. That project is finally coming to its winter shutdown. We put down pavement today, hoping to be officially out of that area within a week, and then we will go into winter shutdown. finish that project in the spring of 2025. The only work left is a new sewer line that will occur below McCullough Street. Then projects 8C and 9D and 8C have officially been approved, and the contractor has been given a notice to proceed so they can start ordering material. We intend to do a rough groundbreaking for those projects this year before winter shutdown, but majority of that project that will occur in 2024 is just ordering materials, and then those projects will start in earnest in the spring of 2025. Those are along Center Street and the Lee and North Grant portions of Grant Street. Both fairly small projects in comparison to what we've done in the past, but still CSO projects. The two next fairly large CSO projects will be Phase 10B and 10C. Those will both start in the spring of 2025, and they will encompass the areas next to Mountain Ridge High School from Nancy Grasmick down to Sleeman Street, from Maine down to McCullough. So two fairly large projects. We expect them to take about 2 years, but they will be starting this spring. So we will have 5 CSO projects going next summer, 1 wrapping up, 2 fairly small ones, and then 2 fairly large ones. So by the end of next summer, we should only have 2 left, but in the meantime, I have quite a few. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to go into detail.
I have a question about Washington Street. Above the retaining wall, is there going to be like a fence or a low wall? Or
Yes, yeah, there will be a fence.
Okay, good.
Yep.
It really drops off.
Yeah, yeah. Yep, there will be a fence, and then actually we'll extend the fence all the way back down past the tennis courts. So.
Great.
Yep.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay. So that concludes the public hearing portion, which is item 9. Moving then to item 10, which is old business. This is the second reading of ordinance 2024-05.
Thank you, Mayor. This was subject to the public hearing earlier. If there's no questions or concerns from the council, we'd ask for a motion and a second to approve on second reading.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 2024-05 on the second reading.
Second. All right, it's been duly moved to approve ordinance 2024-05 on the second reading. Any further discussion among council on that? Okay, hearing none. As many as are in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Ordinance 2024-05 is approved. Okay. Into resolutions then. Start with resolution 67.
Thank you, Mayor. This one is just a logistical, nope, that's not the right word, a paperwork cleanup. We have brought forward to you 4 different change orders for the Phase 10A project for the combined sewer overflow elimination. We brought them forward to you in the order that they were discovered, but not the order in that which they were completed and billed for. So at this time, we are asking you to renumber change orders number 3 and 4 to change orders number 1 and 2, as those 2 have been completed at this time, and that is as requested by Maryland Department of the Environment, who has funded this project. If there's any questions, happy to answer them, or Hayden can. Otherwise, I'd ask for a motion and a second to approve resolution 2024-67.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2024-67.
Second.
It's been duly moved and seconded to approve resolution 2024-67 to renumber but in no other way change whatever the state wants us to. Is there any further discussion among council on that? Any comment from the public on any of that? Okay. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Resolution 2024-67 is approved. Resolution 68.
Good evening. I have for your consideration this evening Resolution 2024-68. This resolution would amend the fiscal year 24-25 scheduled municipal fees. This is in accordance with the changes that were made to the water ordinance that were approved in a prior meeting. So the changes to the fee schedule, it would remove the section that was previously listed as notification of water shutoff. Those penalties no longer apply, and in its place is an actual water shutoff penalty. And also we removed the water reconnection fee during normal business hours, and are updating the after-hours reconnection fee from $75 to $80. So if you have other questions, I'm happy to answer those, but those will be the only changes included in the fee schedule.
Okay.
I move we pass resolution 2024-68.
Second.
All right, duly moved and seconded to approve resolution 2024-68. Any further discussion or comment among council? Any comment among the public? Okay, hearing none, as many as in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Resolution 2024-68 approved.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Resolution 69.
I apologize, I'm going to have a lot of resolutions for your consideration tonight, so you'll probably get sick of listening to me talk. The first one I have for you this evening is the acceptance of the deed for the public infrastructure in Pritchard Farm subdivision phases 1A2 and 1A3. Both of those streets, stormwater conveyance, not the ponds, curb, gutter, those water lines, sewer lines, those things, when they are constructed by the developer, they are intended for the city to take ownership of those. The one-year warranty period is about to expire from the time in which Hayden accepted that infrastructure and the as-built, and the bond for that work is also about to expire. So the only necessary step to release that bond is to accept that Michael Cohen is preparing the deed for that infrastructure, which will be recorded at the Allegheny County Courthouse. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'd ask for a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2024-69.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2024-69.
Second.
Duly moved and seconded to approve resolution 2024-69. Any further discussion among council on that? Did Michael give you an anticipated date of when that might happen?
It should be within the next couple days.
Okay.
And we've been throwing a lot of work at him.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Anything else from council on that? Anything from a discussion or comment from the public on that? Hearing none, as many as are in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Resolution 2024-69 approved. All right, resolution 70.
also related to Pritchard Farms, the city of Frostburg has a program called a real estate tax set-aside program, in which a portion of the increase in tax dollars that the city receives are set aside in a special account to be reimbursed to the developer to help pay for the water, sewer, streets, and stormwater conveyance. The city of Frostburg has done this since 2004 in recognition that the cost of developing a lot here and the cost of developing a lot, let's say in Howard County, are largely similar aside from the land cost. However, what that lot can be sold for here versus in Howard County is substantially different. So this is a way for the city to encourage new subdivision development and also create new housing within our community. It's been successful in both the Pritchard Farms subdivision and the Sand Spring subdivision. This is the next phase for Pritchard Farms. The subdivision plat has been approved by the Planning Commission, and the RETSA serves both as the tax set-aside agreement and also the developer's agreement. This has been drafted. Hayden and I have reviewed it. It just needs its final touch by the city attorney. However, it is the same provisions as used in the previous agreement, so no change there. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'd ask for a motion and a second on Resolution 2024-70.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2024-70.
Second.
Duly moved and seconded to approve resolution 2024-70. Any further discussion among council?
They've been working so far, so.
Yeah. Yeah, if it ain't broke. Any comment or discussion among the public? Hearing none, as many as are in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Resolution 2024-70 is approved. Resolution 71.
So of course, things have changed since your work session last week when we discussed the remaining funding with the American Rescue Plan Act. Notably, back at your July meeting, I came to you discussing the roundabout project, and that at that time, the design cost there was an additional $160,000 estimate for design. We're using a state highway approved contractor engineering contractor because of the funding source. That is by far the easiest way to manage a design on a project. But in addition, there was concerns that the construction for the roundabout at the intersections of Park Center and Bowery and Braddock were going to well exceed the $3 million construction budget that we have. After speaking with you at that meeting, Hayden and I visited with our colleagues at the District 6 State Highway Office and expressed our concerns for the project, and that at that time you did no longer want to reserve American Rescue Plan Act funds for a contingency for construction because we didn't think we could realistically get to having the project bid out by the end of this year. So in that time, State Highway really is a proponent of the project, and they worked with their consulting engineer to get a new estimate for construction, or for design, to finish the design to bidding, and also asked them to prepare a new engineer's construction estimate. That construction estimate came in at just over $3 million, and State Highway reviewed those numbers and feel that that is an accurate construction estimate. Moreover, I did have the opportunity to speak with our local ARC, who is the funder for the $3 million construction, and they have some additional funding that would require a 30% match, but 70% grant that probably could be put towards this project if it did come in over 3 million, not 30, 3 million. So the new roundabout design quote is for $108,000 roughly, and some change. I wanted to put that before you for your consideration. We do have the $3 million in ARC access road funding. State Highway is a big supporter of the project. I am a supporter of the project because of speaking with developers on Center Street, interested in Center Street. That roundabout really is kind of a big deal to their vision of that project being successful, and that's been, I'm embarrassed to admit, but like for the last 6 years that I've been talking about the Center Street project with developers and the roundabout, that's been an important component. But of course, it's up to you. That is a big expense out of about the $260,000 of ARPA money left. All of the other projects that we discussed are still on this list. Many of them that we discussed specifically are in those general categories. If you did approve the roundabout tonight to be approved as part of this resolution, Lydia, our project manager, Hayden, Elaine, and I would continue to send you updates on where we stand over the next 45 days as we work to spend down that money.
So it's just for the design?
Just for the design.
That's $108,000?
Yes, yes.
So we would take something out of one of the others?
And I mean, a lot of those other things were budgeted for already in our normal budget, or just kind of wish list items. So I think,
For example, the audit was about $70,000.
Yes,
right?
and
So
that
even that alone, which is already in the budget. Okay. Going back to what you talked about before with the additional funding, the 30/70 match, that's only for whatever would be in addition to the $3 million that's over.
correct.
Okay.
Correct. The $3 million is 100% grant.
Okay. All right. So, was there?
No, you're fine. And the way this resolution is worded is it is as funding permits. So the resolutions in the past kind of have said these are ARPA projects that the mayor and council are approving. This one has the caveat of as funding permits. So
The $108,000 would be able to be obligated by
yes,
the end of the year, okay?
yes. What I would, if that's your choice, I would bring that back to you in the form of a contract for your approval at your December council meeting. which would, signing that contract would in effect obligate those funds. And one more thing with the roundabout, because I did talk to Barry Ritchie, the one engineer that's been helping us at State Highway with this, and he said just knowing that there's like utility relocates the power lines, there's one crazy power line that needs to be moved there overhead, in addition to maybe some gas work, that it would likely be a 2026 construction. So, but the design would be done prior to that.
And the ARC funds don't have the same spend deadline that the ARPA fund does.
No, as long as it's a project that we're pursuing, it's kind of 10 years is kind of what I've been told, so.
As long as it's making headway.
Yeah.
Okay. So then the projects that are left on here, this would be as funding permits, but this is something that we would not firmly have to decide until December.
Correct,
Okay.
yeah. We can continue to update.
And if we obligate this 108, that would leave us 101 left. Right? That we
No,
could-
141.
40, I'm sorry, yes, 141. Okay. Okay.
I'm fine with
Okay.
Yep.
Well, thank you. I'd ask for a motion in a second then to approve Resolution 2024-71.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2024-71.
Second.
It's been duly moved and seconded to approve Resolution 2024-71. Is there any further discussion among council on this? Anything, comment, or concern from the public on any of that? Okay. Hearing none, as many as are in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Resolution 2024-71 approved. Resolution 72.
This was at the request of the Frostburg Housing Authority. The mayor and council appoint their board of commissioners. There were some mistakes made to their previous requests in the terms of their commissioners. So they're just asking for a resolution that corrects the terms for their staggered commissioner seats to comply with their bylaws, which is Joseph Sawicki's to August 2025, Nancy Hughes 2026, and Leslie Felton August 2027, each a 5-year term that would expire on those dates. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'd ask for a motion in a second to approve Resolution 2024-72.
I'll make a motion, we approve Resolution 2024-72.
Second?
It's been duly moved and seconded to approve Resolution 2024-72. Any further discussion among council on that? Any comment from the public? Okay, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Resolution 2024-72 is approved. Resolution 73.
Okay, this was discussed with you as well at your work session in detail, or at length. A company called Green Bench Companies purchased the Diamond Building on Main Street 2 years ago. Since they purchased it, they've gutted the building, gutted it more than they expected to because of structural issues found. This turned their rehab project into a larger project that was originally anticipated, and their financing model no longer worked. They have worked with Allegheny County Economic Development to present a grant application to the George Edwards Board, or George Edwards Fund Board, which is special funding that's been put in place through state legislation. They fund similar economic development projects in Washington, Allegheny, and Garrett counties. The George Board requested that the local county and municipality put some matching funds into the grant, which was $25,000 of city money, $25,000 of county money, and it would be $275,000 of George Edwards Fund money this fiscal year, with a request for that amount of money again, just from the George Edwards Fund come July 1. If there's any questions, I would be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'd ask for a motion in a second on Resolution 2024-73.
Anyone?
I move we approve Resolution 2024-73.
Second.
It's been duly moved and seconded to approve Resolution 2024-73. Is there any further discussion among council on this?
I'm just curious as what the plans are with Greenbench and what they're putting into what are they doing with the Dodge building?
So that's what I was just about to talk about. So there are a number, what's the number, 15? 17. So the upper two floors are 17 rental units with a funding formula for whatever the basic rent is, plus the commercial space that'll be on the first floor. We discussed this at great length at our work session, and we are, I don't know if apprehensive is the right word. Maybe, no, I think apprehensive is the right word. We were apprehensive about this at first.
We had reservations.
Reservations about gap financing in this way. But this company, and Elizabeth could speak to this in a little greater detail, has a track record of successful completion of projects in town already. There's a number of projects that they've already completed. And the potential for not only to see that building thrive, but for us to recoup our money. I mean, in once the building's completed, and once those units are in place, the property tax revenue, but also the income tax that we'll reap from at least 17 tenants, perhaps more if there's 2 tenants in some of them, it should not take us a terribly long time to recoup that $25,000.
As far as the gap, when they were gutting the building, they found that there were some load-bearing walls that were not supported, and some fairly major deficits that, I mean, if you were going to complete the project at all, they really had to be taken care of.
Bernie.
Elizabeth came to our breakfast meeting and told the Frostburg Business and Professional Association about the 25,000, and we agreed that we thought it was a prudent step for you guys, because what we'd like to see is upper story development of the buildings that are not developed. So we have foot traffic for the existing businesses in downtown. So this is a minor risk that you guys are taking. And we also like the fact that George Edwards wants to spend some money in Prosper instead of Cumberland. So
Right.
we're happy with that.
You
It's a
said
fairly substantial investment on their part.
Yes.
and you said the same thing that we said. It is a risk, but we feel that compared to the risk that the other entities are taking, it's a fairly small risk with a pretty high likelihood of return. So while the city is not a bank and we're not in the business of giving real estate loans,
Let's see how it goes.
let's.
If you get burnt, then never do it again.
That was pretty much our mentality that we landed on. All right, is there anything further from council on that? Anything further from anyone in the public? Okay, hearing none. As many as are in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Resolution 2024-73 is approved. Resolution 74.
This one was discussed at your work session as well. Value Drug Company was one of the parties involved in the initial opioid litigation that the city is participating in. Value Drug Company has no assets, so your opioid attorney for no money or anything. So your opioid litigation attorneys has advised that Value Drug Company should be dismissed from its opioid complaint. If there's any questions, that would be a letter that the mayor signs that they sent me the form from. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'd ask for a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2024-74.
I move we approve Resolution 2024-74.
Second.
Duly moved and seconded to approve Resolution 2024-74. Is there any further discussion on council on that?
It's pretty pro forma.
Yeah, we're not getting anything anyway, so. Anything from the public? Okay, hearing none. As many as are in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Resolution 2024-74 approved. Resolution 75.
All right, Resolution 2024-75 is to award the bid for a contract for the construction of a storage building on behalf of Bureau of Mines. So the building that is being built, the city of Frostburg is managing the construction, which is why we're proposing it here. But again, this is not our money paying for this building. The Bureau of Mines, who is our tenant at the Armory building in Frostburg, we have moved around some of their outdoor storage, and they came up with the funding to build their new outdoor storage on ground that we are going to lease from Frostburg State in the quantity of $1. So To us, this entire project is free, apart from $1 and my time in the project. But the low bid for constructing it was $75,403. This was a three-part project. Part 1 was the foundation, Part 2 was the building, Part 3 was the interior fit-out and fencing. This is Part 2. The low bid was from Kaufman Metals. They plan to be able to come in within about a week and then finish the building in about 2 weeks. If there's any questions, I'm happy to talk about it. If not,
Are we just a pass-through, or do you
Yep.
have a, okay,
Yep.
so you don't have any responsibility as far as like overseeing any of? Okay.
Nope. So, if there's any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them. If not, I'd ask for a motion in a second.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2024-75.
Second.
It's been duly moved and seconded to approve resolution 2024-75. Is there any further discussion among council? Anything from the public, comment from the public on that? Just to clarify, there is no city money apart from $1. Right. There's probably that much change in the Jeep out there.
But importantly, it does keep our tenant, Borough of Mines, happy
Yes.
at the Armory, which is a significant source of revenue that
Yes.
leads income each year.
Yes. Okay. Any further comment before we move to vote? Okay. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Resolution 2024-75 is approved. Resolution 76.
Thanks, Hayden. So one of the projects discussed to be funded by ARPA was a cash payment, down payment, so to speak, on a Chevy Blazer EV purchase package. That would reduce the cost of a Chevy Blazer EV to about the same price as a Chevy Durango lease payment. The benefit is that you don't, Dodge Durango. This flickering screen has got me very distracted.
Yeah,
I
we
don't
need to
know what's
fix that.
happening. The benefit is for the 5+ years that you are leasing the Chevy Blazer, you're not paying for gas for it, just a small amount of electricity. In addition, the Chevy Blazer EV is rated number 1 amongst police vehicles right now for acceleration, stopping distance, and driver comfort. So I think it's a good investment for our police department. If you still wanted to move forward with this commitment with the ARPA funds, I would need this approved this month so that that funding could be obligated before December 31st. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'd ask for a motion and a second on Resolution 2024-76.
I make a motion, we approve resolution 2024-76.
Second?
It's been duly moved and seconded to approve resolution 2024-76. Is there any further discussion among council on that?
Great chase vehicle.
Yeah. Is there any in the fleet that we're getting rid of? Are we trading anything in, or?
Probably not at this time to get adequate vehicles for take-home.
For take-home vehicles.
Right, okay. And the 15,000 is coming from ARPA?
Correct.
Anything else among council? Anything among the public? Ms. Mayor?
Will this vehicle be charged like at the public charging stations, or do you have an electric vehicle?
We have a charger in the garage in the back currently. In addition, as the solar canopies are installed as part of the microgrid project, there will be chargers there, and we are going to work with the developer to make sure that we can not have to pay to use our chargers. So, sure thing.
In addition, this Chevy Blazer is NACS compatible, which means that if for any reason it gets really low and you need to get a lot more miles on it, you can do supercharging down at the Sheets. So, within just a few minutes you can get a lot more miles on it.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Okay, hearing nothing else, as many as in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Resolution 2024-76 is approved, and that's the last one on the list. Okay, so moving on then to Chief Costello.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. Good evening. I have the report for the Police Department for the month of October 2024.
we had 567 incidents, and as a comparison, in October of 2022, we had 768 incidents. As always, just a variety of police activity throughout the month. We had 7 arrests, which is not a number we would have seen a couple of years ago. 5 or 6 years ago, it would have typically been notably higher than that in October, so we are pleased with that. We had 17 requests for well-being checks, 6 emergency petitions, 46 requests for a police officer, 11 follow-up activities that were logged, and 34 disturbances, 12 motor vehicle crashes, 2 DWI arrests, and 77 traffic stops. So as always, as I mentioned, kind of a diversity of activities. I always talk about the community aspects, just a few updates. As I talk about a lot, there are specific community activities we do or we're involved in, but our community policing is really a philosophy that's supposed to kind of integrate in our day-to-day activity with community engagement. So just a few highlights. The Halloween parade, Commissioner Grove and I were honored to lead the parade along with many folks in the room who participated, very successful. Toward the end of October, Lieutenant Seitz did a prescription take-back event at the Frostburg Elks, which was also very successful. We had ended up with quite a few drop-offs down there, so we appreciated the partnership with the Elks and the community engagement. A few little things in the station. We had a nice visit from some folks at Friends Aware the other week. They took a tour of the police station, and these are folks, the group we had were significantly intellectually disabled, so they toured the police station, had lunch with us. That was really neat, really nice time. Just not too much longer after that, we had the preschool kids from the Jennifer Dunn Jones preschool out on Main Street toward the police station and see our police cars. We had a great time with them. We're doing our No Shave November fundraiser again, as you can see. So officers that donate to our cause are allowed to grow a beard or goatee or neatly trimmed facial hair for the month of November.
Much to Commissioner Grove's chagrin.
Yes. And our funds this year, we partnered with FSU's police department. Our funds that we raised will go to Carson Nagley, who we heard about earlier in his very public and challenging battle with leukemia. But he's an inspiration, so we want to support him and his family. Looking forward to upcoming events. We'll be at the tree lighting. Looking forward immensely to Storybook Holiday and our Cocoa with the Popo event, which was Commissioner Grove's idea. So, well, I think our 6th or 7th year of that, 6th, I think. 7th year. All right, this will be the 7th one. Excellent. And then just a week after that, we have Shop with a Cop. So a lot of good things that have been happening in the community and a lot of good things coming up. And thank you very much to the Mayor and Council for your support with our forthcoming new police vehicle. We always appreciate your support of our police department. And that would conclude my report.
Thank you, Chief. We certainly appreciate everything that you and your officers do.
Thank you, Mayor.
Anything else for Chief? You're dismissed. Thank you, sir.
Mayor. Thank you, Commissioners. Good evening.
Okay. At this time, we'll move on then to open public comment. This is the time for Frostburg citizens or anyone to offer comments or concerns to the Mayor and Council. Mr. Miltenberger, if you'd like to come forward, please.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. It's been a long time since I've been in front of you folks. The last time I was here was in the other building. I gave the suggestion from Mike Griffith and that the Mayor and Council adopt the idea that going down Big Savage that we'd have a water turbine that would help with electricity for the water plant. Because at that time we were having increasing water bills because of electricity costs. So that went through here real well. The grants got accepted by both the House and Senate and was adopted by the governor at that time. It was excellent. It was a win-win for everything. Now I'm the president of Pure Water Committee. It was started in 1960, so it's one of the oldest environmental groups in the country, started by the late Virginia Rosenbaum. We unsuccessfully lost the battle of water fluoridation in the early 2000s because we were trying to do the lawsuit that has now been successful. Virginia Rosenbaum asked me to become president in 2005, and she passed the following year. At that point, I put my efforts in with the national group with Dr. Paul Conant. He's a professor emeritus of chemistry up in St. Lawrence, New York. New York, and he brought together these concerned EPA scientists and other scientists around the country on this issue, and they were very good presentations. In 2006, the National Academies of Sciences said, well, we've got a list of issues here with water fluoridation. We want the EPA to do a review from the National Toxicology Program. Well, it took them 18 years. Actually, it didn't take 18 years, but it got drug out 6 years longer than what it needed to be drug out from the current administrator that oversees that. And so anyhow, Michael Conant, in the last 7 years, Michael Conant is the son of Paul. He is a Dartmouth-trained lawyer in environmental issues, and so he lives out in California. He sued under the TSCA. It's a Toxic Substance Controlled Act, which was formed in by Congress in the mid-1990s, and that allowed citizen groups like ours to sue different agencies that were not following the guidelines, like the Safe Water Drinking Act. And so he was skilled at doing this, so he filed the suit in the Ninth Circuit Federal Court. And there's a Judge Chin who's been following this case for 7 years, very, very intelligent judge. Anyhow, the judge wanted to get the EPA to do the job, and it's taken them 7 years to get it. Well, finally, in August, we had the National Toxicology Program came out and said, yes, there is an issue with water fluoridation. It does cause an issue in neurological development in children. It lowers their IQ somewhere between 3 and 7 points, which is significant. If you have the bell-shaped curve, you have people at the upper end who basically pull the cart in our society, the smartest ones. And then if you shift that curve, 3 to 7 points down to the lower end, which people were on subsistence living, then that's an issue for society at large. Well, after that, and this came out in August, so then after that, in September, the judge ruled, after 7 years, the judge said that at 0.7, which is currently in our water supply, it's an unreasonable risk for children for neurological development. So so we won the case, and they basically, the EPA has to come back and either do a complete review or they can go ahead and appeal, but I don't think they are saying they're going to appeal this. I think they're going to do the review. And according to Michael Conant and others, that they just have no box left, because whenever you do a standard that they are talking about, you have to do a safety factor of 10. So it's going to be closer to what the standard is for arsenic and lead, which is somewhere between 15 and 10 parts per billion. At that point, you're going to be taking it out. Well, so there's several cities now, some in Texas, there's a couple in Wisconsin, and then last night, Binghamton, New York, they went ahead and ceased it. Some of the, then if you would see the local politics, or the national politics that's going on with RFK Jr., hopefully taking over the HHS, that's going to be one of his first initiatives, to come and talk to or put out a notice to every municipality that, you guys actually will be saving money by turning the tap off. And then long term, you'll be reducing any type of liability. Because there are liabilities too, like osteosarcoma with young kids, young boys. If they get osteosarcoma, they could sue this council for up to 20 years. Hepatocholangiocarcinoma, which is a rare liver cancer, that is from also fluoride exposure. And then there's other things like hip fracture and stuff. So it's a very serious issue, and it's an issue that, I don't think the dental lobby now are are going to come out and be so, opposing this message, because this has been well examined in the court. And all you have to do is look online, and you will see where the court has ruled. And the ruling was on September 24th of this year. So it's just a matter, and I asked Michael Conant and his mother, well, how long do we have for the EPA to come out? He said about 2 months before they actually say what they're going to do. And so my suggestion is that you guys inform yourself what's going on. I think it's prudent that you maybe from a political standpoint, you just say, we're going to take a pause on this until we see how this thing shakes out. The other thing is the fluoride really doesn't prevent tooth decay per se. What it does is it hardens the enamel, but it actually over time it makes your teeth more brittle. The science is pretty clear that calcium epoxyapatite actually remineralize your teeth, and there are toothpastes that have that in there. And you can go to different dentists and get that type of epoxyapatite, and it will help remineralize your teeth. So I'm just giving you folks an update on this, and I'm hoping that you go ahead and examine it, you get the information that you need to get, but in the next, by spring or whatever, you'll be hearing probably from RFK Jr. if he gets appointed to that position. And you'll be hearing from me, and I'm hoping that we can find a resolution of this long-standing problem. Do you have any questions?
I'll look into it. I can't think of any questions right offhand, but yeah, you said the EPA report's not out yet?
Well, what the EPA is going to do is they're going to either file an appeal in this court, which has been going on 7 years, or more likely what they're going to do is they're going to listen to what the judge says, and they're going to have to come back with their review. Okay, so at that point, you don't know how long that's going to be. At that point, it'd be prudent for you folks to just say, look, we'll just go ahead and pause this program right now until we find out for sure what's going to happen. And that would be my recommendation for you to do, and I'm totally serious about it, because if you would lose your bond or something like that, then it could make each one of you individually liable, and you don't want to do that. So it's something serious for this mayor and council to consider.
Okay. We'll take it under consideration. We'll gather as much information as we can.
And then secondly, see this, can I bring this up here? This here is cold lake water, and this is low deuterium water, okay? It comes from Russia. That's pretty expensive bottle. It's actually more expensive than a bottle of water. Our water supply has two sources. Of course, we have Pine Dam, and then we have the Big Spring. And the Big Spring is at the Continental Divide of the oldest mountain chain in the world, and that's actually where probably some of the best water in the world comes from, okay? And so we are in a geographical proximity that we should actually harness that. Most water in the world is at about 150 parts per million in deuterium, okay, deuterium water. If you get low-level deuterium, like around 90 or lower, then you would actually have a source for bottling this that is like a health elixir. And everything in anti-aging and whatever all talks about the mitochondria. Well, deuterium interferes with the mitochondria, the ATP, and the whole bit. So we are actually in water should be tested to see what level of deuterium is in that water at the Big Spring. And if you find that you're around 90 parts per million, Penny and I went down to Berkeley Springs and we watched this guy. He's from Russia. He gave a 2.5-hour presentation. You can get it online. It's on a paywall. But all you have to do is get it tested. If you have low deuterium in that, which I'm assuming you probably do, then you've got a source for bottling water that can make the city money. And that bottle is expensive. But one reason why it's expensive is because it's being shipped from Russia. So it's something to consider, and it wouldn't take much to just get the test done. Okay, so
Okay.
I'm trying to give you some options here.
Yeah.
And the other thing Elizabeth was talking about, that you're gonna probably drill for another well, that's a great idea, so you get more water, so
Yeah.
that's excellent. Thank you so much.
We appreciate it, certainly. Thank you, sir. Okay, is there anything else as far as the public? Is Mayor? Anything else from anyone in the public? Okay. Hearing nothing then, this meeting is adjourned.